Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 13th Annual Lenape Regional High School District Armed Services Award Ceremony. Let's have a round of applause for Lenape High School's jazz band under the direction of Jack Franchi. I am Jackson Bauer, an alumni of Seneca High School and currently a cadet at the United States Coast Guard Academy, and your Master of Ceremonies for this evening. Throughout this ceremony, you'll be given various cues to stand and to be seated. As a reminder, all civilian guests should place their right hand over their heart during the national anthem. We request that all cellular phones be silenced for the duration of the ceremony. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of colors conducted by our cadets from Lenape High School's JROTC program. The singing of our national anthem by Lenape's Army JROTC Cadet First Lieutenant Jovi Seidelman, and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce the Lenape Regional High School District Assistant Superintendent Matt Webb to kick off this evening's ceremony.
Good evening, everyone. So it's award season, one of our favorite times of the year, and this is one of our favorite award ceremonies of the year because it's unique. So in addition to honoring our students, we're also going to be recognizing veterans. Veterans who are alumni, staff, or relatives of current students. But first, there are a number of people in attendance that I'd like to recognize. I want to start by thanking Jackson, our Seneca alumnus. He's a shining example of one of our grads that are prepared to succeed. Thanks for being here tonight, Jackson. And please join me in welcoming some members of our Board of Education that are here tonight to help us celebrate. Representing Mount Laurel, Paula Lee. Representing Medford, Jennifer Levis. Representing Medford Lakes, Steve Lee. And representing Evesham, Barry Fitzgerald. Please also welcome our school superintendent, Dr. Carol Birnbaum. And we're well represented with our administration tonight from every high school. From Lenape, we have Principal Tony Catani, and Assistant Principal Joe DeJulius. From Shawnee High School, please welcome Principal Matthew Campbell. From Cherokee High School, please welcome Principal Donna Charlesworth. And Assistant Principal Kevin Meter, there in the back. And from Seneca High School, please welcome Principal Brad Bauer. And Assistant Principal, there in the back, Mrs. Karen O'Neill. So in addition, this event takes a tremendous amount of coordination. I'd like to recognize our superstar administrative assistant, Pamela Maraglia. And again, Lenape Assistant Principal Joe DeJulius for the outstanding job they both did in organizing this event, as well as the members of our Armed Services Awards Committee, whose names are listed in the program. And finally, in advance, I want to thank Kenneth Wong, who will be our keynote speaker tonight and providing our students with some guidance and wisdom. Thank you for being here. And to our honorees, it is truly a privilege to have the opportunity to celebrate your accomplishments. Your service and sacrifice, and that of your families, are the main reasons we're here tonight to take some time to reward and recognize you. In addition to showing our respect to the men and women who make a difference, another goal this evening is to create a support system for our seniors who will soon be entering the armed services, military academies, or entering a college ROTC program. Now, we understand full well that those who have served have not done so for accolades, awards, honors. As a matter of fact, many who have served may be slightly uncomfortable with any recognition. But I'd like to share a quote with you to help express our gratitude for your participation this evening. It's an old quote, but it's still relevant. The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation. And that was by President George Washington. So having veterans from our community is so important to our ceremony, as you pave the way for our future veterans graduating from the Lenape High School District this year. And it's truly our privilege to have you join this evening in an opportunity to model service. Now, before I conclude my remarks, I just want to share a personal story with you. It's about my brother-in-law, Colonel Edward Kern. Colonel Kern recently retired a few years ago after serving our country for 31 years in the Marine Corps. Now, if you picture a Marine in your mind right now, that's my brother-in-law, Colonel Kern. He's like central casting out of Hollywood for a Marine. He's stoic, he's disciplined, he's one of the toughest guys I know. He's intense, he's always got close crop, haircut, close shave. He's in his mid-50s now, but he's usually one of the fittest people in any room he walks into. He's an interesting guy to go to a restaurant with. While I'm trying to enjoy my cheeseburger, he's got to have his back against the wall so he can survey the restaurant. Like Jack Nicholson said, and I'm going to date myself with this reference, but like Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, we want him on that wall. We need him on that wall. And I'm grateful for people like him that give their service to their country to protect our way of life. So when he retired a few years ago, I was so honored that he asked if I would go down to his retirement ceremony at the National Marine Corps Museum in Virginia. And I was really curious how this man, a few words, I was curious, and what was he going to say? And I have to tell you, I was blown away by his remarks because the entire theme of his speech was an attitude of gratitude. Now, there's a sportscaster named Ernie Johnson, And a few years ago, he gave an address to the Alabama football team. And if you haven't had an opportunity to see this, it's worth 5 minutes of your time to check it out on YouTube. Same theme, that service isn't a burden, it's a privilege. So my brother-in-law, he saw active duty in Iraq. He uprooted his family, moved him to Germany when he had to be stationed at Stuttgart. And as you can imagine, in 31 years of service, he had to sacrifice time with his family. He has 2 sons, missed a lot of events, a lot of school events, holidays, things like Halloween parades. But what he said was, he said he wished he had more than 31 years to give in service to his country. Now keep in mind, he finished his career in the reserves. So after he graduated from Rutgers in an ROTC program and he gave his 4 to 6 year commitment, clearly he kept re-upping when he didn't have to. He has a lucrative career in corporate security. He has multiple advanced degrees, and he's still giving back teaching at the War College. But his theme was, wherever his post was, whoever he served with, he wanted everything and everyone to be better when he left than when he arrived. So students, I think Colonel Kern provides us with a great example of how leading with the goal of leaving it better than you found it can result in checking a lot of boxes of standards for success, help you meet most of your goals, enhance your service, all while inspiring others to lead by example. And I'm honored our students are able to share this evening with each one of our servicemen and women, whether on active duty, in the reserves, or home. And I hope this evening shows our communities that we live by our commitment to honor our brave men and women. And on behalf of the members of the Lenape Regional High School District and the Board of Education, I thank you for your service and thank you for protecting our freedom.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. At this time, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening. Kenneth Wong is a second-generation Chinese American born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ken, as he is known by his friends, attended public schools growing up and was a varsity athlete at Penn State University. As an entrepreneur, Ken is the founder and CEO of CIG Asia Ltd., a national property and casualty insurance brokerage firm focused on commercial risks and risk management. He is a principal at NavPac Advisors LLC, a business consulting practice that focuses on developing business strategies for private enterprises between the United States and Asia. In 2022, Ken, with a team of experienced business executives, formed Cathros Holdings USA, a company that is developing a new environmentally friendly, all-American battery storage technology. From 2004 to 2007, Ken was appointed by President George W. Bush to serve on his White House initiative for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, focused on economic development for AAPIs across the U.S. From 2012 to 2014, Ken was appointed by Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett as the chairman of his Governor's Commission for Asian American Affairs. In 2017, the acting Secretary of the Army, Robert Speer, appointed Ken as the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, Pennsylvania East. Ken continues to serve on many boards locally and nationally, including as the chairman for the board for U.S. Badminton. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker for this evening, Mr. Ken Wong.
You know, I gotta learn to shorten that bio. It's way too long. I think half the people in the room are asleep by now. Listen, I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. It's not the greatest evening in the world, but you know what, tonight and what we're going to do tonight is going to make this night a very special evening. I want to thank all the veterans that have come out for this evening. Most of all, I want to thank the young men and women who at some point in time in the near future will be raising their right hand, you know, to serving our nation. So we are blessed. We are really blessed to live in the greatest nation in the world. My father escaped China just as the communists were closing the borders and made his way to the United States. You know, it's interesting. My father came to the United States, couldn't speak English, couldn't read English. But somehow, he made his way to the West Coast, had some money that was given to him to get a ticket on a Greyhound bus, and came all the way from California to Philadelphia. And I remember talking to him, you know, later in his life and said, Dad, you couldn't speak English, you couldn't read English. How'd you figure out how to come all the way across the United States? Because at some point in time, you had to get up and go to the bathroom, right? So he said he just watched enough. After they stopped, he figured out how long they were going to be at each stop. So he knew he could get off, go to the bathroom, and get back on the bus before it left without him. So I remember saying to him, you know, Dad, when you escaped out of China, you could have gone anywhere in Southeast Asia. It would have been a hell of a lot easier. Can I say that? Can I say hell here? Okay. It'd be a heck of a lot easier for you to establish yourself, because it wasn't easy, you know, being Chinese in Philadelphia in the mid to late 50s and early 60s after World War II and the Korean War. But you know, he said to me, he said, I knew at some point in time in my life I was going to have a family, and I wanted to make sure there were good opportunities here in the United States. And I said, but Dad, you had a Chinese laundry in Northeast Philly, and you and Mom worked your tail off from early in the morning till sometimes 9, 10 o'clock at night. And he said, I'm not talking about the opportunities for me. I'm talking about the opportunities for you, your sister, and your younger brother. Because he heard in China, while he was growing up, that the United States was the land of opportunity. It was a country where if you obeyed the laws, you worked hard, that opportunities will come along for yourself to be successful. Now, do we have a perfect country? No, we don't. I've traveled all over the world, and I've seen what other countries are like. And we don't have a perfect country, but it's one of the few countries in the world where everybody in this room has an opportunity to make a difference in this country. And for the young men and women that are going to go into the military, you will absolutely make a difference. Believe me, you will. Even if you don't think so because you're just one person. You know, I talk to my recruiters all the time, and I tell them, you know, recruiting is a tough job, but it's an important job, because you could very well be recruiting the next president of the United States. You could be recruiting the next Medal of Honor recipient that's going to save hundreds or thousands of lives. So everybody has a job, and every job is important. So one of the things you've learned so far in your lives is some values, some character, and how to surround yourself with the right people. And you will. You will. How many people play team sports in the room? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. Well, you're going to be playing on the biggest team sport platform you'll ever seen, and you're going to be wearing the cloth of our country, which I don't care what Dallas Cowboys say, that is the All-American team. You're going to surround yourself with good people and know that the person on your left and on your right is willing to make sacrifices for you, just like you're going to make sacrifices for them. So one of the things I want to tell you is that you have to learn how to trust. Not only are you going to learn how to trust your teachers, your trainers, trusting your mentors, trusting your teammates, but more importantly, trusting yourself. Trusting yourself, knowing that you're going to make the right decision, knowing that how to be on which side of right you want to be on. And the reason you're going to be able to trust yourself is because, you know, if you've taken the time to learn and listen about values and character. Because at the end of the day, the difference between us and other countries is that we have a military that has ethics, value, and character. You know, I keep a pretty close eye on what's happening, you know, around the world. You know, what's Russia doing, what's China doing, what North Korea is doing. It's a lot of technology out there. And our peers, our near peers, have a lot of the similar technology. But the difference between us and them are the people sitting in this room, the people that serve in our military. We have the best trained military in the world, bar none. Bar none. That's why, you know, the U.S. military is as respected as it is in the world. But also, too, in the United States, there's polls been taken. They'll say to somebody, if you broke down on the highway and somebody approached your car to help you, who would you trust? And the number one answer is always anybody in uniform. Anybody in uniform, anybody serving the military, people trust. So having that trust really is an obligation, because you're going to be representing yourself, you're going to be representing your family, and you're going to be representing your country. So I know a lot of people have aspirations to serve. Some will serve much longer than others, but the most important thing is that you served, and that you have the ability to pay it forward. You know, you sit around in this room, and there'll be some veterans sitting in this room, and believe me, those veterans, they laid a lot of the foundation that your career is going to be based on. There's going to be things that they've seen that you'll never see. And there's going to be things that you see and experience that they never have. Serving your community and serving your country is probably the most satisfying thing that you'll ever do. As you know, we heard earlier about the Marine Colonel. You know, one of his wishes is he wishes he could serve longer, because serving does something for you. It does something for your mind. It does something for your heart, and it gives you a real gut check in regards to what's important in life and what's not. So, in some of my closing remarks, there's a time and place for everything. And for our young folks, they're going to be graduating and entering the ROTC, or going to a service academy, or entering the military service upon graduation. This is your time. This is absolutely your time. And you want to take advantage of it. You want to take advantage of that opportunity. You want to it's like going to a buffet. All those opportunities are going to come to you. Take advantage of all of them. Take advantage of all those opportunities that come to you. It's going to give you experience. It's going to give you knowledge that today, at the moment, you may not realize that how important it is. Down the line, you will. Down the line, you'll see how important that is. Whether you're, part of a unit, or you're leading that unit, that training is going to come back, and you're going to be glad that you did probably some things that you thought were pretty stupid at the time. You're going to create a lot of your own opportunities too. A lot of the officers that I know that retire, they have multiple degrees, they speak multiple languages, and they started out just like anybody else. They started out taking advantage of an opportunity for education, and when all these other opportunities came to them, they took advantage of it. This is an opportunity for you to define yourself. This is an opportunity for you to define yourself. I tell a lot of people, if you let others define you, it's a pretty good chance you're going to get half of it wrong. But if you define yourself and you let people know who you are, and what you're made of, and what the future is going to be for yourself, then you're defining yourself. I know when I was invited to speak tonight, I said, well, you know, what do you want me to speak about? And I basically was told, I don't know, say something inspiring, inspire the students. And as I was driving over here, I was thinking about that, and I know I get a lot of opportunities to speak with students, and I usually tell them, I'm not the one here to inspire. All you guys are here to inspire, are inspiring me. The opportunities you have, I wish I had. And the things you'll get to do and the things you'll get to see, I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by that because I think, you know, education-wise, family-wise, you'll know how to handle it. You know how to take advantage of it, and you'll know how to represent yourself well. So, good luck with everything. Godspeed. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize all active duty, National Guard, reservists, armed service retirees, and veterans in attendance this evening. We will be playing the armed service songs. We ask that you please stand while the music of your respective branch is played. Thank you. Thank you. Will all honorees, students, alumni, and employees please line up on the left side of the auditorium at the bottom of the steps to prepare for the presentation of the coins. Ms. Maraglia will assist in the lineup. Board of Education members, Dr. Birnbaum, Mr. Webb, and the principals, please come up to the stage for the presentation. While we are getting situated, please enjoy this short student-created JROTC video.
Why do we JROTC?
I JROTC for new experiences.
To challenge myself. To compete.
I JROTC to learn discipline.
To become more motivated.
To gain self-confidence.
I JROTC to learn leadership.
To serve my community.
To be part of something greater than myself.
I JROTC because it's more than just a class.
It's a path to commitment,
Courage.
And honor.
Why will you JROTC?
First, we will honor the Lenape Regional High School District students who have committed to branches of the armed forces after graduation. I will be reading the student names in alphabetical order by birth order of school. As part of tonight's ceremony, we will be presenting each student with a challenge coin. There are many conflicting origin stories for the challenge coin from every branch of service. However, the most popular supported lies in the history of the United States Army Air Service. This branch existed during World War I as the forerunner to the United States Air Force. The fledgling Flying Squadron Division was staffed by primarily volunteer pilots from all walks of life who were excited to be able to use such advanced technology while serving their country. This excitement drew people from shore to shore, from farms, factories, and universities. The youth of America was stirred to action. To commemorate the excitement for these times, one of the wealthier lieutenants created a die-struck bronze medallion for the pilots in his squadron to serve as a memento of their teamwork. Rumored to have been gold-plated and finely detailed, the pilots treasured this gift and kept it closely to them and guarded it during their travels. As the Army Air Service made their way across Europe, one of the squadron's aircraft sustained damage and forcing a pilot to land on enemy territory. Captured by the German army, the pilot's belongings were confiscated, and he was sent to a prisoner of war facility. The pilot's captors had, however, missed one small detail. The pilot had managed to keep his squadron medallion in the leather pouch around his neck. In addition, turn of odd luck, as the soldier was being transported to the POW camp, the transport group stopped at an occupied village en route to rest for the night before continuing. Overnight, this village was raided by the British, and during a general confusion, the soldier managed to escape captivity. Wearing civilian clothing, the soldier raced towards safety. Once he reached Allied French soldiers, he soon realized the danger was not past. Warned of saboteurs dressed as local citizens, the French soldiers demanded proof of identity. With all of his official information in enemy hands, how could he prove that he was actually an American pilot to the security patrol? As he stood facing guaranteed execution, the soldier pulled out the medallion from around his neck. Recognizing the unit insignia on the coin, one of the new captors called for a stay of execution long enough to confirm the soldier's identity. Upon returning home, news of the soldier's plight spread. Soon, what began as a simple gift among teammates became a proud military tradition among servicemen and women that lasts to this day. Now, to introduce the students. From Lenape High School, Aiden Bergen, U.S. Army. Jay Campbell, ROTC program at TCNJ. Devin Carr, ROTC program at Rowan University. Alessandra Carrion, U.S. Coast Guard. Selena Davis, U.S. Army National Guard. Hector Rodrigo, U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Joseph Teat, ROTC program at Virginia Military Institute. Ryan Toner, U.S. Marines. From Shawnee High School, Gavin Bystricki, U.S. Air Force. Lucas Estevez, West Point. Nicholas Mickelwright, ROTC program at Virginia Tech. Kingston Potter, U.S. Marines. From Cherokee High School, Jason Brown, United States Merchant Marine Academy. John Holownicki, U.S. Air Force. Sean Kiefer, NROTC program at University of Pittsburgh. From Seneca High School, Travis Bauer, U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Grady Brown, U.S. Naval Academy. Aiden Flanagan, U.S. Marines. Andrew Haas, Air Force. Joseph Hensky, United States Air Force. Jacob Weir, NROTC program at Norwich University. Kaylee Worrell, U.S. Coast Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have one more round of applause for our graduating seniors and future servicemen and women. Now, we are going to recognize district alumni, current and past employees, and parents and grandparents of students for their service. Anthony Escuto, U.S. Army. John Bystricki, U.S. Army. Gerard Kanata, U.S. Air Force. James DeForge, U.S. Air Force. Manuel Estevez, U.S. Army. Steve Henske, U.S. Air Force. Thank you. Emily Wynn, U.S. Naval Academy, and Tyler Wynn, U.S. Coast Guard. Their mom, Kim, is accepting on their behalf. Richard Kovatz, Senior Army Instructor for Lenape High School, Army JROTC. Elvany Tamwo, U.S. Army. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another round of applause for all of our servicemen and women. First, let me say how proud I am to be standing in front of a group of young men and women who have made a bold decision to serve and do something greater than themselves. That choice, your choice, set you apart already. I just finished my second year at the United States Coast Guard Academy. I'm also a member of our wrestling team, which means I've had my fair share of early mornings, tough practices, and those moments have tested both my body and my mind. And that's what I want to talk about today. Not just the challenge ahead, but the strength you already have within you. Right now, you're probably feeling a mix of emotions. Excitement, pride, maybe some nerves. That's normal. You're about to be in one of the most transformative experiences of your life. It will push you. It will humble you. But it will also reveal parts of you you never knew existed. Your resilience, your leadership, your ability to lift others up even when you're running on empty. At the Academy, I learned pretty quickly that it's not about being the smartest, the fastest, or even the strongest. It's about being the one who refuses to quit. Whether out on the water, in the classroom, or grinding it out in the wrestling room, what I quickly learned is that determination will carry you through. You will make mistakes. We all do. But every stumble is a chance to grow. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove that you belong. You are not here by accident. You earned this. So as you head into your summer training or report to your academy or prep school, take this with you. Embrace the discomfort. It means that you are growing. Trust the process. It will shape you into the leader this country needs. And never forget why you started, because you chose to lead, you chose to serve, and you chose to make a difference. I believe in you, and I'm excited to see the impact you will make. As we say in the Coast Guard, Semper Paratus, and welcome to the family.